So, normally I'd kick these videos off with a hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to this member tribute, but today, for the venerable Max, I thought I'd try something a bit different. So, during the journey of going through TBOG art and literature that I performed for a blog last month, I came across this old post by Pants Animation. Now, he posted a whole ass story that he wrote. It was called In the Depths of a Portuguese Lakebed. And he posted it up and he was asking for critical review. Now, he got a few reviews. He got me and MT and Solly all came along and gave him a few pointers and everything, but I just wanted to kick things off by just going over Max's review, because I think this is honestly this just encapsulates Max in his entirety. If you ever need to describe what kind of person Max is, just pass this review over to him. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'm just going to take a few different excerpts from the reviews to just say out to you, because I just find it makes me laugh so much. It really does. If you want to go and read the whole thing, I highly suggest you do. I will leave a link in the description below, but I'm just going to start off with the review and take a few parts on. So we'll kick things off with basically how the review started. So this is going to be a gut reaction and review for a story that a good Pants Animation just posted, titled In the Depths of a Portuguese Lakebed. I read through the story in its entirety twice, so as to help me catch any elements that I might have misinterpreted or just missed altogether. And for the purposes of writing the review, I'm glad that I did, because the more that I think about the story, the more good and bad that I have to say about it. That said, we need not only ask why these James Bond villains don't stab the kids in the heart or something while they're still asleep on the boat, so they can skin them while they're dead and save the hassle of tying them up. Also, why they need to feed this thing in the first place. The only hint we get is a captain shouting that he's already hungry again, which implies that this isn't the first time they've fed the monster, and that they're in some kind of rush to do so, which makes sense if they're afraid of what he ends up doing, killing the crew. Yet Susan survived because the plot said so. But at no point is it suggested that this thing can even leave the lake, and why go out there to satiate its cravings, and why not just let it starve without killing anyone? I had a few ideas why these people might feed the monster, but none of them really held up when I went over them in my head. The one that made the most sense to me, and the one that seems most like the idea that the author might have been trying to convey, is, what if the monster has some sort of hypnotic gaze, and causes anyone who looks at it in the eye to do its bidding? That would help explain Susan's behaviour after the monster looked to her, but she was already well off the rails by then. So it's unreasonable... Sorry, I'll explain why I'm laughing later. So it's unreasonable to assume that the monster looking at her really did anything in particular to fuel that. I also entertained the idea that perhaps the captors wanted to satisfy its hunger so it wouldn't leave the lake and go after the townspeople, which would have made for some clever tension if it was explored a bit further. But again, there's nothing in the story to imply that the monster is even capable of leaving the lake. So from a logistical view, they're risking their lives, kidnapping exchange students, skinning them alive, and feeding them to a lake monster because it's there. It's not like they're a monster worshipping cult, because there's nothing, not even an idol or a painting, to suggest that anyone reveres this thing as anything more than one animal to keep them alive, because it's there. Okay, now this is my favourite paragraph. Overall, there are a few elements I liked. It's an interesting premise, and the protagonist was an okay lead. The face heel turn at the end was a cool idea, and some of the imagery really hit the nail on the head. As it stands though, there are so many major fundamental flaws in the story, and even more problems in how it was presented, that I can't honestly call it good. For these reasons, I'd give it a 4, maybe 5 out of 10, being nice for some of the better pros. I'm sorry to say this, since I can tell you that you had good ideas here. As an aspiring writer, these are things you really need to consider before stepping up to bat again. And I truly hope that you do your next story... Sorry, I hope that you do so your next story can be that much better. Below the dotted line are some bits of the story that I have things to say about. So it's at this point that he goes on to sort of pick out particular quotes, and he goes to particular quotes and analyzes them in depth. I'm not going to go too much further into these because we really need to get onto the actual video itself, but I love some examples like L-A-Y-E-D, no, L-A-I-D. Her first night was comfortable. Her first night was actually rather/pretty comfortable, or her first night gave her a really comforting vibe/feeling. Look, okay, I want to say something right now. This is actually a really good, really constructive, very helpful review. Now, Pants was very positive about this review, and he came back and he basically said, oh my god, this is great, I love that you tore it down, it's given me a lot to work with, and I agree. This is a really good review. If you're ever looking for a good critical review, this is really great. It breaks down basically everything, it points out all the logic flaws, it's fantastic work. But oh my god, if this one review just doesn't sum up Max's personality, nothing else will, because only he would do this like high school style essay to break down someone in his online crew's attempt at making a short story. It is incredible. It just makes me laugh so much, and I just wanted to share it with you guys before we got stuck into this, so I hope you enjoyed. But for now, let's get into the actual meat of this tribute video. It is currently October 2021. I am several weeks late in posting this video because my webcam broke and I needed to wait until the good folk at FedEx got their act together and sent me a replacement one. But it is here now and it's time to go over this thing properly. I apologize for the wait, but it is the way it is. Today, we're going to discuss none other than the legendary co-admin of Towboy, who was the last Tribute membership video. I could have put that together better, but I'm not going to. Maximum Koff, aka Max, spelt with M-A-C-S, aka Max, spelt with an X. Blockles extraordinaire. Current admin, known for his immense overachieving and over-explaining. If Cal was the Calopedia, then Max is the Encyclopedia the Maxopedia Grammatica. That's better, that's much better. Max has been around since the very earliest days of TBOG. He's not one of the OGs as such, but he was around in those earliest years, and he is certainly a more veteran member than most currently staying at TBOG. And he's been an active participant for a very long time, keenly jumping into games such as Smash, OMG MOBC, and a lot more over the years, having acclaimed a number of titles that we will get into later. Max has been a permanent presence for a very long time, and I think many of us couldn't really imagine TBOG without him. Today, we're going to go over the man, the myth, legend, and explain how he came to be here, what it is that he's been able to do in his time here, what we, as members of TBOG, feel for this great man. Max, this one's for you. So normally I'd like to start these videos really talking about how a member got to TBOG. And now for our previous tribute videos, Towboy and Ava, this was fairly easy because they both joined relatively late compared to some others. For Max, this isn't really as possible. This isn't really as easy to do because he was one of the veterans from the very early days. I can pinpoint it down to a certain point, but I have to say it's very difficult to know anything too specific because back in those days, obviously, we were entirely on Zat, and the records are, well, they don't exist at all. Everything was expunged, they don't keep records, so those days, unfortunately, are just based on our memory. He was also signed up to neither of our first two websites, which sort of spanned the first 3 years of TBOG. Oh my god, my eye is itchy as fuck, sorry about that. But yes, no real way of knowing, but in comes our old friend, the Best Newcomer Award, which we have used to pinpoint down people's journey starting at TBOG several times in the past. So I can confirm that Max must have joined at some point officially between July 2014 and July 2015, as that was when he was eligible for the Best Newcomer Award at the 3-year anniversary awards. It was at this point that he got 0 votes up against stalwarts like Soli, Eggs, Max, Cora. I just realized I said Max the second time, just ignore that. Cora, Cultist, Cal, and eventual winner, Gabe. So we have some idea of when Max might have joined. I'm more inclined to believe that he possibly joined before that, as 2014, or late 2014 I should say, seems a bit too late. But that's the earliest we have, and that's the earliest we have to work off. If anyone has anything more specific to work off of, or anything to work against that, please do let me know. It might have been a possible situation where we just put him in for a later Best Newcomer Award because he wasn't eligible for the earlier ones because he wasn't around at the time. I don't know, but if you have any more information, do let me know. Throughout his time at TBOG, Max has been a consistent competitive presence, and although he only chooses to play in a very small amount of events, he often excels quite a lot in each of them. Of all the different events that he has played, Max is most well known for being an absolute god at OMG MOBC Blockles. And although he isn't the current reigning Olympic champion, the only reason for that is because he didn't show up to the 2018 Olympics iteration of the event. With the 2022 version of the event coming up next May, I think he's going to be retaining that title if he can make it, as I have never seen anyone be able to play Tetris quite like he can. And as close as some players like Soli and Black have come, and I think Eggs back in the day was also quite good at it, or maybe Cultist, one of the two. He has always been an absolute top tier player at it, and that is definitely his biggest legacy, having won 2 Olympic golds in Blockles in the past. He's also been known to be extremely good at Ghetto Swap. not really quite as good as Soli, but he has taken the gold in that event in the 2018 Olympics as Soli was not participating. He is easily one of the best players in Ghetto Swap besides Soli. He's also been known as one of the top tier Smash players ever since the game first came out. Again, kind of trailing behind Black a little bit in titles, and I'm not entirely sure he has ever won an actual title in Smash, but he is always in and around the top 4 sort of players, and he has many silvers and bronzes to go with his collection. Finally, Pokemon Showdown. Max has been a consistent presence in the very beginning. I don't know whether he's actually attained any titles in it, but again, silvers and bronzes, he's been up there, he's fought a lot, and he's well known for being one of the stalwart Pokemon players. Beyond that, he doesn't really participate in too much, but when he does, he is always a big presence and he's always someone you should be looking out for. Beyond the Olympics, Max has been able to achieve a couple of anniversary awards, which is a lot more than we could say for some other members here. In the 5-year anniversary, he took home the Most Appreciated Award, one of the single most coveted awards in the history of TBOG, as it really goes to show how much people, I don't want to say appreciate because it seems like a way too easy of a way of saying it, but we're just going to go with it. It shows how much you're appreciated in TBOG, funnily enough. And he was able to take it in what I believe was the award's inaugural year, so that's also a lovely extra special bit of history there for Max as well, in what was quite a landmark year, 5-year anniversary. Of course, now it seems like so pedestrian because it was so long ago, but at the time it was a huge success for us, and anyone who took awards during that time, quite a special thing for them. A year later, at the 6-year anniversary awards, I personally gave him the Parasloth Loyalty Award, which celebrates the most loyal members in TBOG history and everything that they've been able to accomplish for TBOG in the time that they've been here. Very well deserved award, and I do not regret giving that to him at all, and he has proven in all the years since that he definitely deserved that, and he could win it again very easily if the award were to return. Beyond that, they got to a point where Max actually became an admin himself. We'll go more into detail of that later, and he introduced his own awards, his own personal awards, as part of the 8-year anniversary celebrations and the 9-year anniversary celebrations. In the 8-year anniversary celebrations, it was Max's most skilled title. Not the most imaginative name in the world, but that went to Black of all people. No surprise there, because it was mostly looking into competitive success. Black had a stellar year that year, just as he has had every year, winning tons and tons of different events. No doubt in my mind that Black was a deserved winner of that award. And then the next year, Black at Max, in a lovely bit of a loop from me giving him my personal award, gave an award for dedication to me, which is a lovely little bit of a gesture after giving him that 6-year anniversary award. And yeah, thank you, Max, very much appreciated. Could feel the love. But yeah, that's how his awards journey has come to an end. Beyond that, I haven't got records of him earning anything else beyond that, but that's a very good lineup of awards in terms of Olympics, off-season, anniversary, all that sort of stuff. He's done quite well for himself while he's been here as far as achieving things is being concerned, so good for you, Max. So I mentioned a bit earlier about how Max eventually went on to become admin. Now, records of what Max was before this point are a little bit spotty. You'd be surprised at how bad some of the records are towards promotions, especially in the early days. But what I can tell you is this: Max achieved the rank of admin after being promoted shortly following Soli taking over from me as leader of TBOG shortly before the 7-year anniversary awards. There was no vote for this award. Soli just immediately promoted him and made him to be what was for quite a while, her only co-admin. Max has most certainly earned his position through years of countless contributions, incredible stalwart loyalty, and being one of the most respected and appreciated members of TBOG in its near 10-year run. Ever since then, Max has proven every single day that he earned the position, that he deserves it, and that he is willing to do what is necessary to make sure that he sees his responsibilities through. And should the day ever come where Soli does choose to step down, I have every belief in my heart that Max, should he choose to take over, will be a worthy successor to both I and Soli, and that he will be an incredible leader for TBOG. If there's one thing you could describe Max as being, or one word that you could associate with him more so than any other, it's the word overachiever. And every single person in the world... What the fuck am I going on about? Oh, okay. Every single person in TBOG can definitely corroborate that fact. Max has developed a reputation, as we saw in that review earlier, for going above and beyond when it comes to critical analysis, explaining things, and being the, actually guy. Not to knock him, it's a great trait to have, but that's definitely been his most defining trait, I would say, during his time at TBOG, is that he's always there. If you talk about an area of interest for Max, something he knows a lot about, he will talk you to the fucking ground about it. He knows everything there is to know, and he will always be willing to help. Everything you could possibly need for help for something like King of Fighters or Smash or anything else that he's into, ask Max, you will get your answer and a million more that you never asked for. But we do love that about Max. It's one of his most quirky and most charming features about him. It's one of the reasons we like him so much. Max the Overachiever, what an absolute legend. What an absolute legend Max is. And yeah, there are countless examples on Discord, on Zat, on the site of him going into ridiculously unnecessary detail explaining things. And it's just so great. It's just so great. It's a lot of fun to go through, and if you ever need a little bit of a laugh, if you ever need to just like be a bit, you just need to cheer yourself up, just go back and look at some of Max's history. There's a lot of fun stuff there. And now it's time for everyone's favourite part of the video, the comments. Today we'll be blessed with comments from 3 different people: co-admin and leader of TBOG solely, his longtime companion, best friend and Smash rival, Black, and... wait a minute, what the fuck? Wait. Oh my god, guys, look, it's fellow TBOG member and person who has absolutely no association with Maximum Cop at all. It's Nagasa-chan. Nagasa-chan, what are you doing here? Hey, Para. I just wanted to hand over these comments from Max, his tribute video. What? You want to comment on Max's video? Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye. Nagi wrote, "Hey there, this tribute is well deserved. Ever since we became good friends, you've always been there for me at the strangest and most needed times. You've never been judgmental, and your generosity is crazy. You've always been present and fair, and your wall of words is always insightful. Your drawings kick butt in the good way, and I can't wait to see your final screenplay." But... can't help but notice that she didn't do it in video form. What's going on, Nagi? And now for Black's comment. "Sue, Max. He's really the one person in TBOG I feel I relate to the most. Well, at least in likes. Ha ha ha. Since the Zat era, I feel like we both understood each other well enough, and like we know things about these obscure games no one else in TBOG knows, and everyone would look weird at us. But it's so funny. Also, by the time we started doing Smash, I always felt like he was way better than me, and well, those times I got by were total flukes. But I really like his playing style in Smash, and I always get on the edge with him. And he's a dependable guy, I'm glad to have met him." And finally, from Soli. "Max is a very good friend. He's trustworthy and has a wicked sense of humour that he often sneaks in. I'm always proud of the guy, and I'm certain he's going to get whatever he sets his mind to." Probably shouldn't have left that one for last. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the video. Max has been one of the longest serving, most loyal, most dependable members that TBOG has ever had. While he and I may not always see eye to eye or understand what the fuck each other is talking about, I've always had an incredible amount of respect for him and everything that he brings to TBOG. Max, I hope this tribute video has given some insight into what the people of TBOG feel about you. I genuinely do think these are the best comments we've received so far, and also didn't point it out earlier, Nagi's comment was the first ever voluntary comment. She actually came to me and told me to give the comment to you. That's never happened before, so I hope you feel very special about that. I really sincerely hope that we get to see you for the rest of TBOG's lifespan, however long that might be, and that you will always be here. And if the day does come where you need to take charge, I know that you will do such a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, Maximum Cough. And so that is it. I am sorry this took so long to get out. I hope it was worth the wait. I've decided to start changing up to be a bit more improv, a bit less scripting, so I can look at the camera a bit more, and throw in a few comedic skits and bits as well. There'll be a lot more of that coming in the future if you guys liked it. We will be coming out with the October member tribute, which is Black, very soon, hopefully at some point Oh god. Hopefully at some point next week, if not next weekend. With that in mind, I've been Parasloth. I'll see you at the Smash Olympics tonight, or at the tribute video next week. If not, I will see you later. And now, that means there's only time left to say... Max!
Join me for a ride. Speed up the music. Join me for a ride. Maximum overdrive.